So now, after the so-called, day that you have, Gorgnak went to training. Bobby, what did you do?
I sold my stuff.
Right, and as for Cabled, what did you do in your time?
I just went back to the room.
Okay, so you meet with your friends later, and all of you are hanging out in the room in the evening. Spending good time, and I guess going to sleep afterwards, right?
Yeah, I'm not staying up for the binge tonight. I'm just going to sleep.
Nothing.
I mean, we could think of tactics that we could use with Mendel.
Yes.
Okay,
do that.
definitely sleeping.
Alright, so imagine this. We could just, Mendel's pretty much going to be like a duck of steel with his armor.
Duck of war.
So we could just, yes, a duck of war. So we could just, throw Mendel at their heads, and then they get knocked out because of how tough Mendel's armor is.
No, you see, we should weaponize Mendel's charisma. And
yes.
That cuteness.
That's a better idea. We should get, a bow tie for him or something.
Well, sure. Anyway, is there anything else you would like to discuss, or are you doing before discussing strategies about Mendel before you go to sleep, just to know, or are you all going to sleep afterwards?
Bobby's already asleep. He slept immediately once they tried to talk about Wendell.
So he's into Jeff more. Okay, I see.
I'm not even a fan of Jeff. I'm not a fan of these pets.
So you're becoming the new Wexley.
Yes, he is.
But not exactly to that extent. Anyway. That's kind of weird to me, because you did like Mendel before.
I was neutral on the subject of him. He was fine, but, he ain't worth all the riot. He's overrated.
Right.
There's no such thing as an overrated duck.
Anyway, you're all going to sleep, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, all of your night is going seemingly okay, or should I say dreams, except from you, Gorgnak. Yours are a little bit different. When you wake up, or should I say not exactly wake up, you find yourself in a familiar place that you were before. Did you were, Leosis temple, or should I say not exactly a temple, but the place that you got the amulet, which gave you the power-up of your cleric power-up, I guess. This is the place that you find yourself in, which I'm not sure if I did another time of it, but whatever.
Sweet, this again.
Point is, I think I only did it one time. Point is, you wake up in it, and looks the same, but unfortunately a lot darker, or should I say more differently, a lot darker. It's darker than before and have more of instead of a white tone into it, more of a red tone into it. And the place itself looks a little bit stranger, but again, it's kind of exactly the same for the most part. However, instead of Leosis himself, the amulet of him, or you could say the statue of him, there is a statue of a woman instead, with a big warhammer. She looks like she's hacking it on someone on the floor, but not exactly showing what she's doing. She's just showing the motion of trying to hack trying to hit someone. And the room itself and all of the things around it are a little bit redder than before.
Grognan just starts face palms a bit. Okay, what do you want? I know you can hear me.
Well, you don't really hear an answer.
I saw that timeline. I saw what happened.
I don't think...
I'm just screaming. I'm just screaming everything out.
Yeah.
I started giving in. But look where that got me. I got killed. Everyone got killed. It was my fault.
And then you start hearing a voice saying to you, Is it? Is it though? Maybe it's your inability to use my gift that got your friends killed to begin with. It sounds like a voice of a woman, but not like, I would say it's like, it sounds like sweet and poisonous at the same time. Kind of a voice. I don't really know how to make that sound like, but it's kind of like sweet, poisonous, and kind of like aggressive and demanding at the same time. It's kind of a weird mix, but you don't really understand that, because it's really, really hard to make a voice like this, but I guess that's a goddess for you. And she said to you like this, like, isn't it something that saved you and you all kind of like got killed by a circumstance? And also, something that has been told to you is that this is not exactly a true timeline. Or at least none that should concern you. And you hear that voice echoes in your head in different directions.
Maybe. But that still happened. I still gave in more than usual.
Who knows? Maybe you do need to give a little bit more in. Otherwise, you're going to be even dying at this moment.
If you think I can use your gift better, then teach me.
Maybe a situation of life and death will teach you more. Just like that one. It's going to occur very soon. So I recommend that you're going to wake up. She says, and then immediately you're going to get pulled back into reality as you find yourself a second before a knife hitting your neck, and you slide to the side when you wake to reality and you're seeing like a knife hitting the wall.
The fuck?
A strange figure appears in the room. And
what was that for?
And he looks like, well, he has the same symbol, the pentagram symbol, as the guys that were in your other timeline.
Okay. First punching, then questions.
He just
I rush him.
Yeah. Before you do that, he just starts swinging on you, and I need, I guess, Bobby and Cable to roll for me something.
Perception?
I'm not sure because you're asleep, so I'm not really 100% sure what that will be.
I think perception will be fine.
Yeah, sure. But it will be very high perception for you to pass, I guess, because you're sleeping.
But actually, from what I've seen, no other skill actually works in this
Yeah,
particular
so
scenario.
perception from both of you. Natural 20 and a 10. Cable is still deep asleep, and then you just like
Wow.
always like wake up. What is the racket is all about? Kind of.
Wow.
And you seeing kind of like Gorgnak kind of like trying to evade a lethal blow and then start rushing someone that is in your room. And you notice the symbol of the pentagram from the guys that shows in your alternate timeline.
No, I realize I don't have my sword right now.
That's the entire point. Genius. You have no sword and you have no shield, and none of you have your main weapons.
Alright, time to get a punch in.
You're going to rush.
This is where Meindl can help.
Well, Cable is still asleep unless, of course, you're going to wake him up as well. At least for the moment. For the time being, I guess, roll initiative, I guess. Or maybe, what do you want to do? Let's ask that. Let's ask Gorgnak, what are you doing exactly?
Wake me up.
Well, I'm rushing the guy, so I'm not seeing Bobby when he entered the room. I'm kind of focused on the guy, and I want to restrain him.
Mm-hmm.
That's my main focus.
Okay.
Knock him out, restrain him, just so he won't kill himself.
I see. Well, roll for me, I guess. I guess it's an acrobatic or a strength check, or a grapple. I think that's a strength check. Like, you're trying to grapple, right?
Yeah.
So it's a strength check against something else. I think we covered grapple last time, but I'm not really 100% sure.
We did sleight of hand for that, I think.
I have no idea.
Yeah, no, to evade it, it's sleight of hand.
But to get...
Is anyone gonna wake me up though?
No, we're not going to wake you up. You can sleep, buddy. We don't want to stress you out.
Well, time to bring the Wi-Fi disconnected excuse now.
Well, in the case of Gorgnak, you need to roll for me for, like, you know, actually trying to catch him first.
Okay, that's
So
fair.
there's a strength check. My god, I'm tired. Ugh, sorry. That's an 18 versus... Oh wow, he rolled 19 on die, so he's evading it.
Alright, can I notice what Grognak is going for and trying to do the same thing myself?
Yes. With advantage this time, because he doesn't notice you. That's still a no. He kind of like noticed you in the last second, jumps on your head, and kind of like trying to stab you, but you're still able to evade him a little bit, and he is what it called? He's able to like slide to the side and just stand in front of you guys.
All right. Well, I guess we have to wake up Cable now. I'll yell his name.
Yeah, just give me a second. I need to close a window. Yep. And I'm back. So you want to wake up K-Bolt?
Yes, I'm going to scream for K-Bolts now.
Okay. Perception for K-Bolt with advantage.
I think he left for a second.
No, I'm here.
Okay, you wake up as well.
Okay. Okay, what? Why are you screaming my frickin' name?
Get in here, there's an intruder.
Okay, can I blind him?
Is This is not really the best representation of this place, but like it's the best one I found, so you know it's kind of like the simplest thing I can use.
Man, are rooms that big?
Like I said, take it to proportions because of the fact that I don't really have the ability to present it in the best case scenario, and I still try to find a way to do what I called like a map for like a hotel room, but no, I didn't really find a way. So if you really want to, and let's be honest, we're talking about proportions here, I'm just going to make everybody's bigger.
Me big.
That makes sense. Anyway, so he's essentially there. He kind of like jumps on you here and just runs here. And now I guess you can roll initiative. I guess that's the point right now. Because now Cable waked up and you're all ready for combat. And I want to remind you that you don't have your weapons.
Why am I rolling 10 so much?
Because the number 10 loves you.
Technically,
I've only rolled 10 today.
Okay, Gordnak, you're first.
Okay. So, what I will try and do is blind him.
With what?
With this.
Oh, okay. You're blind. You can blind or deafen a foe. Choose one creature that you can see it into its attack. Constitution saving throw. If it fails, the target is blinded or deafened. Your choice for the duration. At the end of each of its turns, the target can make a Constitution saving throw. On success, the spell ends. So
it's a level.
He rolled a 16 on the die already, so I think that fails.
Yeah. So spell DC. My spell DC is 13.
13? I think it's more. It's 14. No, 13, right? You're correct. Anyway, he's able to evade that. And
damn it.
Unfortunately, I think with that's your turn's ending, right? Because you don't have your weapons. And now it's his turn. And he's going to try to stab you guys. Going to try stab you, Bobby, and he fails. And then he's trying again. And he succeeds with 7 damage.
Can I try to use sleight of hand to try and take the weapon from him?
I mean, now you're able to because it's your action, so sure. You can try.
Since I literally do not really have another weapon, besides a crossbow, which is, we're in a room.
We're in your
together.
pajamas.
You don't usually shoot cross. Yeah, so I'm going to try to steal his stabby weapon.
Okay.
With sleight of hand.
Okay.
That doesn't look good for me.
Let's see. No, that looks good for you. That's a fail.
Well, I guess I'll get stabbed to death, guys.
You can still do your action to try to grapple him or something.
Yeah, let's try that. Is that strength?
Yes. That's a fail again. And that will be the end of your turn, and now it's Cable's turn.
Do I still have my dagger, or just like no weapons?
You have your secondary weapons. You don't have your primary ones. God, this
okay, so I'm just going to try to just use my dagger.
You can use magic. You can use magic.
Okay.
Unlike me.
Okay, I could use magic.
What kind of magic? Eldritch Blast? Something like that?
Yeah, why not? I'll go for my ace move.
Then press on it. Eldritch Blast, a beam of crackling energy start. Make a range on target. The target 1d10 force damage because of classical side to charisma mod. Okay. So now roll for me range spell attack with your. So you add your charisma to it, like you roll a d20 and add your charisma modifier to it. Plus proficiency, I guess.
Okay.
So in your case, I think it's like 20 plus 6. D20 plus 6.
Yes, so I'll just roll a d20 and then we'll add 6 to it.
Yeah. That's a fail.
Well, that's an 8.
Yeah, that's a fail. Is there anything else you wish to do, or you cannot do anything else?
Yeah, well, could I use like a hex or something?
Hex is a good option, yes. Then press on Hex. Hex, bonus action. Okay, sure. He's hexed. But I need to double check another thing about him. Not this symbol. Let's put this symbol. So I target. What ability check you want to choose for him to have disadvantage on?
I'll go with strength.
Strength specifically. Okay. That's an interesting one to choose.
Well, there's me over here only trying to grapple him, so, we may need that.
Yeah, but what he used against is Dex, not Strength.
Oh.
So that's
yeah, maybe you should.
Oh, so should I switch to dexterity then?
Sure, this time I'm going to let you have that, but normally I will not do that. It just, like, the disadvantage you're giving him is not against what you do, is like with the chosen abilities, what he makes. So, for example, he makes things with Dex. His Dex will be with disadvantage. So yeah, that's a lot more important. But that's pretty much does it for your turn, and I think it's now once again Gorgnak's turn, and what Gorgnak is going to do.
Grapple the guy, I guess, again.
Okay.
Or at least try.
So go to him and try to grapple him.
I'll go over here.
Interesting.
Just so we have pincered him.
Okay.
With Bobby. And strength, right?
Yep. He does have a disadvantage, but he's still able to evade you.
Okay.
We'll bear hug him to death at some point.
I hope. He's going to stab a person.
You can still try to punch him. Nobody said you can't.
Is
okay?
How does a punching attack work?
I think it's normal, and just like you add, like you do 1 damage or something stupid as that, or you're. Oh no, you're doing your strength modifier as damage.
Yep. So I roll a d20. Okay.
So that will be a fail.
Why is everyone dodging my punches?
It's just this guy. That's our one problem.
He then jumps away, and he's now going to face up K-Bolt specifically. Which does mean that you can attack him again, Gorgnak, because he does leave your area of attack, but doesn't leave.
Oh, yes.
That's another fail.
Ugh.
And then he looks at Cable and says, "The master will be definitely interested in you, Shifter." And then he's just trying to kind of like, he's not really trying to stab Cable, but more of like trying to kind of like knock him over or something. And I need you to roll for me a Constitution saving throw, Cabled.
Okay, Constitution.
That surprisingly will pass barely. So yeah, that's fine. Will pass barely. And then he's trying to essentially stab Bobby again, and this time he fails, and now it's Bobby's turn.
Okay, but could I mention something right now? Just
Yes.
like something fun. Like, well, a bird just flew into my window.
So you have a bird now.
So
Is that a duck?
What kind of
It
bird?
just like hit the wind. It's like a little. It was like a little brown bird. It just like hit my window kind of hard and like fell
I think
a
it's
little
a
bit.
house bird. I think I know what you're talking about. It's a little bit house bird. It's not a house bird, but it's the common bird. I forgot the name
Yeah.
in English. Doesn't matter. I know what you're talking about, I think. So that is your bird now. Enjoy.
Yes, that's my bird now.
We'll call it Steve.
Yes, I have a bird now, Steve the bird.
We'll deal with that later. Point is,
All right.
what are you going to do, Bobby?
I don't think I have ability that does me any good. Yeah, nope, I do not have ability
I
that
mean,
does
you
me
have
good. So
actions, you have Action Surge, and you can punch him 3 times or something.
double punch.
Don't you
All
have
right.
weapons though? Like some kind of form of a weapon?
No, I have a crossbow.
That's a weapon, you moron. That's
All right,
still
but
a
we're in a enclosed room. I'm just trying to be
Fair
realistic. You'll never shoot a crossbow in
Fair
a room
enough.
like that. So, best thing I can do is try to steal his weapon.
You're
Sleight
going
of
to-
hand.
Okay.
Here we go.
I'm going to give you an advantage on that one specifically, because I wanted to say that, but you rolled before that. Because specifically he's in a situation that's kind of like put him in disadvantage, because you kind of like all around him in a way, so, you know. So yeah, you're going to take his weapon to yourself. What are you going to do with it?
I will use it.
Okay, roll.
I can't roll particularly that weapon though. So
Just
what do you
roll.
want me
It's
to
a
do
weapon,
in this case?
It's a weapon that you're proficient with. What's your strength?
My strength is I think 3.
So roll a d20 plus 5. Duh.
Alright. Good old D20.
That's
Oh,
another-
Oh, jeez.
And
Then you're able to stab him, so roll
The
for me
guy
a
just lost a leg.
just roll to me a d8.
yeah, D8.
So now we're doubling that, and then we're we're rolling another d8. I'm stupid. You rolled 2 d8s, but technically you rolled one, so roll another one, and then add 3. So that'll be 9 damage as you took his weapon and you essentially stabbed him with it. And it's kind of like a basic kind of, I wouldn't say knife, but it's kind of like a basic long sword. Nothing too fabulous like yours.
Yes, but I can still wield it. It acts like a boss.
Well, that's pretty much does it for your turn. Now it's Cable turn.
Alright, since he's close, I think I'm just going to use my dagger.
Go stab him. Stabby stabby. That's another natural 20. See? Your luck
Wow.
could change. Luck does change in the middle of combat, don't worry about it. Now press on the dagger name and roll damage. Like the name here. There we go. I don't know why the 20 here. Okay, that's a weird one. Oh, I know why it's showing that. That doesn't matter. The point is, just ignore that, use the 4. I will fix that later. It's 4. So the damage is 4. That's pretty much it. I don't know why it's at the plus 20. I will look into it later. Anyway, you rolled a 20, a 4, and because you can press that again to get the other damage.
Press dagger again.
Yeah, press the name dagger again. I don't know why it shows the plus 20. So we're only taking the 3 in that 5, so it's technically 7 damage. That is 7 damage as you stab him with your knife. And technically you can also roll another d8, I believe. Because of your hex.
No. Oh.
Alright, 4.
Cool. It's a d6, but I will let it slide this time. That's my mistake. Point is, you just stab him back, and then you also just inject him with necrotic damage. And that's pretty much does it for your turn, right? Unless, of course, there's something you want to do.
Yeah, that's it.
Now we're going to skip on into Gorgnak's turn.
Okay. What should I roll to determine if the guy is still alive and how much he's alive? Because I want him alive.
Perception. He's alive. He's looking like he's fine. Still fine. A little bit wounded, but still fine.
Okay. So going over here.
Mm-hmm.
And let's try grappling.
Okay, roll.
God damn it!
You can never get a grab on him.
I
Yeah,
guess not.
He still rolled a 14 on the die. He rolled a 19 and a 14, even with disadvantage.
Okay. So.
And also another rule, just to know for you guys in the future, in case of, in case of like things like this, when you have a tie, the defender wins. The only times that it's different is that when you roll an attack against an AC. If you tie with the AC, you win. But in case of like protection from magic effects or protection from grapple, if they roll the same as you, as your DC or AC or whatever, they win. The defender wins most of the time in these kind of situations.
Okay, fair.
Okay, so what are you doing now?
I think I'll try and just punch him in the face.
Okay, roll.
Roll a d20.
That's a plus your strength, so that will hit this time.
Yes.
So now you add your strength modifier, so you deal 3 damage. You just punch him in the face. It's like, oh. And he's like saying,
I will try to do everything to restrain him.
Well, he doesn't look so happy. And he essentially looks at you guys. And looks at the stores that you took from him. And then he just tries to escape from the current window. So you, technically 2 of you, which will be Gorgnak and K-Bolt, you're going to get an attack of opportunity on him or doing something to him before he escapes.
Can I try to grapple him again?
Yes, you can try.
I will succeed! Or not.
Well, unless you roll nat 1, there is no chance for you to do that. And he didn't, so... yeah.
Could I still use Eldritch Blast or no?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna use that then.
D20 plus 6.
Okay, so that's 21.
So that's a D. So that's. Just let me see how Hex works. So you deal 1d10 plus 1d6 plus 4 damage. So that's the damage.
Okay. 1d10.
1d6.
So that's 11.
11 damage. Yeah, you just hit him with a blast in the
Okay.
back.
1d10, 1d6 plus charisma modifier?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he specifically got also Hex bonus, so that's additional 1d6. But
Okay.
so he's just like get hit in the back, and he's just looking at you in the second, like stops, looks at Cabold and says, "The master did a very good job, a very good decision of choosing you. We'll see you in the other side, Blue Dragonborn." And he then just disappears out of the window, leaving behind
Blue boy.
leaving behind kind of like a note on the ground with the symbol of the pentagram that is on his clothing.
Well, at least he didn't curse the town this time, and I got a free sword.
Well, that's pretty much the end of that scene of the combat. How are you handle it? You've been attacking by night. And also, he did escape from the window by, like, breaking it, so... you know that immediately after that he's escaped, he's probably not going to come back because of the fact that he made noise.
Okay, so I have a little brown bird now named Steve, right?
Not yet, not yet, not yet.
IRL you have.
Don't worry. Oh yeah, sure, totally. The bird got just at night hit the window, see you with the assassin, and now we have a bird named Steve.
Yes, now we have a bird named Steve. He just randomly hit the window. That's why we couldn't grab him, because in one of the grabbing attempts...
We'll give you Steve later, not now. Don't worry about it.
Okay, Steve the little brown bird.
I will look the name for that in Hebrew and then in English, so we'll just get that. The point
Well,
is...
there's no direct name. It's very hard to, deduct a species.
Anyway, what are you going to do? What called?
Oh, by the way, I think it. I just want to. I think it was a sparrow that hit my window. I think it was that.
Okay, but what are you going to do right now?
Okay, so...
I think we probably have to report this.
He left that note on the ground, yes?
What?
He left that note on the ground.
Yes, it's not exactly a note.
It's just the pentagram?
Yeah. It's kind of like a pentagram with a little bit of a note, with some language that's a little bit harder for you to kind of like understand. So it's a house sparrow, what you're talking about, pretty much. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, he has like the pentagram, it's like in black ink, and you see kind of like a note in kind of a little bit of a language that's ununderstandable to you. It's so chaotic and weird.
Am I? Can I roll anything to determine what language it is?
Sure.
What would that be?
I'm not really sure what's the good ability check for that. Just give me a second.
Maybe insight or history.
History, I think, will be the best one, but even that, I'm kind of like hesitant on.
Religion.
No, not religion.
Okay, those are like the closest you get.
I want to determine the language. Is it Elvish, Infernal, something on that plane?
Just give me a second to check these skills.
Okay. I'm pretty sure it's not Celestial because I'm proficient in that language.
I think it's specifically the best thing for it is history. I don't really have any other thing to say to you in that regard because it's really hard.
Okay. History it is. It's language.
Well, in terms of a language, it's not angelic, just like you said, like, celestial or something like that. It's more kind of a gibberish from what you get. Because what languages do you know? Any of you? Like, all of you? Just tell me what languages you know.
Common, Dwarvish, Gnomish, and Celestial. Okay. That's for me.
I just know
Orcish
Common,
and Elvish.
Again, one at a time. I didn't hear anything, so Bobby's first.
Orcish and Elvish.
Okay, now Cabled.
Common and Draconic.
Okay, so it's none of these, unfortunately. It feels like more like scrambled words that looks like... How should I say this? They're not like from this world exactly. Kind of like feeling like from another plane of existence.
We just found a note in Japanese.
Pretty much. Yes, Moonspeak. Stop talking Moonspeak. But yeah, this note is like from letters that you don't really understand. You're not even sure that Ivres will be able to pronounce it for you, but yeah, it also looks like scrambled words of like gibberish. It doesn't even look like full words to you with these.
Okay. So Grognik is now turning to Bobby. Okay. Bobby, how do you feel? How do you feel? Do you feel anything different? Show me the sword.
The sword I got? Okay, I'll show it to him.
Okay. I want to see if if there's any sort of poison or any hack. I have detect magic.
Yeah, no. It's literally a simple sword for killing. He might have wanted to kind of like poison it, but it mostly looks like the sword that he used to defend himself, and like the knives that he left are the poisoned ones. But he missed you, so it doesn't matter. He left like 2 knives that were poisoned, but he just kind of like messed that up.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just tired.
Yeah, understandable.
Have a good day. So, anything else?
Well, I'll pick up the knives because I love looting things. My gamer senses are turned on by taking items that don't particularly belong.
Okay. Well, you guys got attacked.
Be careful, those can be poisoned.
Well, you guys got attacked this night. Is there anything else you would like to add to the conversation?
Well, we should probably report this to make sure, we're not billed for Grognak breaking actually someone attacking us.
Speaking of which, the moment that you're saying that, the door just opened up with a slam.
Hi.
And guess who enters in? Half awake, but very, very determined to take down any enemy.
I'm guessing our favorite central lady.
Yes, exactly. Exactly in those words specifically, I actually was thinking. She's entering in and she's like looking and kind of like asking what the hell happened here.
Oh, you know, the usual.
Don't say that.
Sleeping, trying to not get assassinated. You know, the usual.
Assassinated, you say? And she kind of like looks at you, kind of like, and then she kind of like, it looks like it flies over and like, you know, in one ear and just go out of the other, and it's like she's immediately, wait, assassinated? Kind of like, she kind of like immediately snaps and just starting to scour the rooms, and she kind of like, you did specifically take the weapons, technically, but for the moment she's taking it into custody for herself. She said that if they will be fine, she will give it to you back, but for the time being, she wanted to use this as evidence to maybe scour the persons or the people, and she kind of like takes all of the things that you have at the moment, right?
Yep.
And I think that makes sense. She takes them, and she kind of like looks around, and she says, well, you definitely cannot stay here for the night. Follow me, I guess, she says. We'll take care of that later, as she says, as few guards enter the room, different other demi-humans there, and they're like kind of like guard this place and guard the window until the morning. And then you close the door, and she leads you into, well, into her own so-called quarters.
Huh.
That's not
Not what I
really,
was expecting.
not really a problem for me to not sleep on my... I'm sleeping on my legs up. It doesn't really matter for me. Plus, I think this will be the best place for you to stay at, because this is the best place I can defend you at, if need be.
Yeah, I guess.
I still notified all of the guards, and they're still going to be around patrolling this place specifically. And I don't really know who specifically want to harm you, but for now, we'll try to get some rest.
Yeah, it is particularly weird. Who wants to kill a weird drunk dwarf? Nothing really special to him at all.
Not to mention other things. Why would he want specifically all three of you? I don't think specifically he wanted to go after Gorgnak. I think specifically he went after all of you.
Yeah, I was just the one sleeping closest to the window.
And maybe it's because you found those items with my brother at the lab, so he wanted to take you first. But then again, the two of you, she looks at you, Bobby and Gorgnak, you were in that cave, or should I say that mountain inside. I'm pretty sure that's what the story, if that checks out, right? You were in the Elber Mountains, you were inside of it for a while in one of the caves.
Yes.
Cable wasn't.
Cable wasn't, which makes this a little bit strange that they want to attack him as well. But I guess it's because they didn't really know that your elf friend is not here anymore.
Maybe. Okay, you know what? Let's think about it in the morning. Night. Good night.
Good night, she says. And she looks at all the three of you. and walks into the main hall. She kind of like leave you all in like I wouldn't say like a reinforced room, but there is no windows or a place that somebody can like be there. And she kind of like walks outside, but not close the door, so she can like immediately rush in and just like sit on the side of it, or should I say stand at the side of it. And the night passes, and you wake up in the morning. Sorry that I stopped there. I just thought you specifically wanted to say something about like the morning, because I said you wake up in the morning. And what are you doing in the morning?
Like usual, I stay in bed till like 10 when, it's very unrealistic to do so. Just unhealthy habits like that.
Grognak goes training again. Goes to the arena.
Okay.
I'll go training too, because why not?
You specifically like you wake up in the morning and like you see Hystelia specifically like in the front door. She kind of like you see her not going to sleep, so now she kind of like sleeps on guard with her hand on her whip, and she kind of like taking a nap, like not wanted to, but she kind of like stand in the stands and she kind of like fell asleep.
That's adorable.
What?
Can horses lock their legs? I know cows can. So cows can sleep standing up. Can horses do
She's
so?
a very sturdy horse. And even if she can't, yes, don't think about it. I make it part of the lore that centaurs of her kind can.
Alright, canonically can lock their legs so they can sleep standing up. Fair enough. New facts to know.
Ryan goes to the arena and starts training up his grapples. Specifically grapples.
Okay. As your day passes on, I guess specifically, you all train, or at least pass the time until you'll be called for these particular meeting, I guess, about this particular situation that happened at night. Well, you kind of like went to training, and you see Belle, the wife of Taco, kind of like watching you all for a few seconds as she kind of like doing her usual things at the arena. You kind of like picked up that she kind of like more of like a nurse of sort in this place, kind of like taking care of the people who are doing some particular accidents, and she kind of like looks at you all for a few time to time to see. She kind of a doctor, I guess, not a nurse, kind of like taking care that like you don't injure yourself for no good reason, and she kind of like walks away. After that, I guess you're going back to take your weapons, because that's what she says to you that you guys can do. She specifically said that to you, Gorgnak and K-Bolt. She kind of like, you can go take your weapons from my husband now. I think he's finished with them.
Thank you.
They weren't
let's go.
really difficult to made, because these are really simple upgrades. Your friend's shield, however, might take a little bit of a while.
Understood.
So
should we bring Mendel to get him fitted for armor?
No. Just no.
We'll do that, yes. But
yes, let's take him.
I'm afraid that will not be the correct time to do so for all of these activities.
We'll go see Taco. They're little bit more training.
Oh no, somebody said that, and he kind of like, you hear this voice, and you kind of like, take you a second to understand that's not Bale said this, and the terror in the arena himself entered in, pretty much the man of the estate, and he kind of like looks at you. It seems that you had a very, very eventful night.
Not really. No ale involved.
At least
so it kind of sucked.
At least you didn't lose your sense of humor, says Roy, and he looks at you smiling. And then you see Bale kind of like bow a little bit and kind of like going back to do her own business. And he kind of like acknowledges her and kind of like looks at you guys.
Well, that was a new experience.
Well, that's another thing we need to add to the table, which is very interesting. A lot of things became more dangerous lately.
The fact that we were to be assassinated, or the fact that the assassin was able to infiltrate the estate?
Both.
Fair.
The fact that you're being assassinated is concern for you. The fact that the estate is being this, I wouldn't say easily, but I guess that's the word for it. Because the defenses in this place are not really weak or something. It could have been one of our own people as well, which also would make a little bit of sense because he was able to pass out the security. So it might be having a traitor in our midst. I will not be surprised if that is the case.
So the assassin was either extremely skilled or had an inside help.
Or he himself, one of the people in the inside. Yes.
All three options suck.
Of course they do. What do you think? They're good? None of these options are good in any kind, shape, or form. But we need to acknowledge them. For now, I think we need to go and talk about this a little bit.
I need to work on my grapples.
Well, you do need to work on something so you will be able to beat me one day, old man. If even.
I will. Or at least I will land a punch. Baby steps. Baby steps.
He kind of like usher you all with him, and he kind of like... Well, before that, there's something very formal I need to take care of. Which you specifically also been kind of summoned because she's interested of seeing you here.
Oh.
Yeah. She's here, even faster than I thought it will be. But honestly, it might be for the best this time around, because of the events that happened to you at the night. It leads you all into outside, when he just stands, kind of like formally, and essentially, I wouldn't say it's not a carriage that stops. It's kind of like it's much more grandiose than that. It's, how should I say this? It's a, I would say a griffin. I guess that's the word for it in English. So a griffin kind of like flies from the skies, and it's a tamed griffin, and it just like lands in front of you all.
Oh god, I hope we don't have to fight that. I definitely can't do it.
And the griffin kind of like have the carriage on his back. Like you do have like kind of like the driver and kind of like what looks like a little bit of guard, and then you have like a little bit of carriage on his back, and then out of that carriage, or should I say like, you know, the place that you hold people in it, I guess. I don't really have the word for it. I guess carriage up torso is fine. I don't know. Carriage, sure. Kind of like rolls a few stairs, and an half-elf woman step out of it. She's wearing kind of like I would say kind of like purple dress with some gold linings here and there, and some a little bit touches of greens in the end of her sleeves. Her hair is what called? It's blonde. I don't know why I wanted to say yellow. It's blonde with the touches of a little bit of silver, and she have what looks like to be red eyes as she kind of like steps down to you all specifically.
I nudge Roy. Someone has a thing for grandiose entrances.
You have no idea, he says. And he kind of like trying to be formal, but like before you even can just even breathe and greet that woman, she kind of like jumps on him immediately. And just make him fall on the ground. Immediately when he finished the sentence.
That's new.
Yeah. It's that kind of a relationship. He says kind of like from the bottom of the pile on him. Pile of clothing, I guess.
It's not the worst thing in the world.
Nobody said it's the worst thing in the world, but he said that's the relationship.
It's better to be Cable, just a lonely dragon.
I'm just a lonely dragon.
Lonely blue dragon.
Well, after they stand up, she kind of like looks at you, and she looks at like, you know, she kind of like formally like dust herself off, and Roy kind of like trying to how should I say, like fix his back because it's broken, but not really. And then he kind of like looks at you, and like he says, "May I introduce my future wife / fiance? She actually controls the same place around where you live at, Bobby, or at least somewhere around where you live." Just give me a second, I need to pull up the name because I think I had it, but apparently I didn't, so... Oh, there we go. This is my fiancée, Lucinen, of the Redless family, and she's here to aid us in the thing that we talked about yesterday, I think.
Oh. Will she also aid us with the newest developments?
That is something that we need to discuss. She kind of like looks at you all three for a few seconds, and then she says, "Greetings. I see here a dwarf, a human, and a dragonborn. I thought they were supposed to be an elf."
Stuff happened.
Stuff happens, and apparently I am very disappointed that you come visit me at Naporia, but, well, at least I'm getting to see you now. So even though that you ditched me specifically, you're at least got with my fiancé, which meaning that we're technically working together even though you chose him to go to Ivres. Because I was one of the people who sent you your letters when you were supposed to go to one of the council members, she says.
Yes,
Don't get
I
me...
kind of figured after you mentioned Naporia.
I am not angry or anything, she says. It's just very interesting that you decide to choose somewhere else. She said, kind of like, with she kind of like twists her face a little bit, but she's not like, looks like she's really angry. She kind of like making this like, stupid face when you kind of like angry but not. I don't really have the words for it at the moment. And then you kind of like look at you three and she says, well, I'm pretty sure I know why I'm here, but you were also very vague about it. She looks at Roy. So I would like to hear once again from firsthand from you all, as well as you said that there's another development coming up.
Yes, milady, but I think we should talk about it somewhere in private.
I figured as much. Walls have ears, as you know, or should I say, outside have ears. Well,
And knives.
oddly specific, but sure, she says. And the three of you, with the two council members, are finally stepping into the room. And then, obviously, into the, into Roy's office. And that's where we're going to end the session, I think. I think that's a good place to end.
Yep.
Next time
that.
on the Unfit Crew.
On Dragon Ball Unfit Crew, I mean.
And I'm going to say this, don't worry, next session I will skip the parts that you explained to her the same things over. We're going to immediately jump into the fact that, like, you're explaining the assassination things, because I think, like, explaining it for Roy and Ivres is just enough. We don't need to do it over and over again and repeat this, unless, of course, it's going to be a while since you talked about it and few developments happens. So for now, I think that's exactly fine to leave it as it is. So in chapter next one, which probably going to be 8, we're going to deal with that. Now, hope you all enjoyed, everyone who's watching. Hopefully it wasn't really much of a mess, because of the fact that we're just like talking like idiots. And yeah, see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace.